G'day guys, Dobbo and Kev here from the Inside Ball. Kratzmann's Caravan RV Super Centre are our major supporters of Inside Ball. And coming up to the end of the financial year, they've got a deal for you. Caravans, motorhomes, RVs. They've got the lot. You just head out to Burpengary on the Bruce Highway. You've been there, Kev.
Right.
And for 40 years...
Superstore, Dobbin. Yeah, it's a superstore.
They've been the leaders for the last 40 years. Do you know they've got, with these end of financial year sales, up to $20,000 off different caravans, motorhomes. Not all of them, but you go out and tell them you want to do a deal, tell them you listen to Inside Ball. They want to sell you a motorhome, a caravan or RV. It's that easy. They're a super centre. And when you go to super centres, funny things happen. Magic. And that's what will happen out of Kratzmann's. They will create some magic for you and your next destination. Kevie?
Yeah.
You've loved pulling a caravan. Grab your caravan, hook up, back the car in, hook the caravan up, head west. Just head west, my friend. Go up to Veroma, you go to Mitchell, go out to the Mighty Magpies, go to the Woolscour at Blackhall, out to Longreach, Ilfracombe, go and have a look at, I've got my hat, but my hat is pinned in there at the Wellshot Hotel at the Ilfracombe.
Is it?
Yeah, you just take your Kratzmann
Who
Caravan
pinned it
there.
there?
Oh, the publican there. It was a good hat as well. It was a Charlie One Horse. It happened in 2011 when I was on the footy show before I got sacked. Anyway, that's enough. Kratzmann's Caravans. There's RV Super Sale. End of financial year sale. Up to $20,000 in discounts there. Go and tell them Dobbo and Kev sent you from Inside Ball. Just remember, Kratzmann Caravan. The best there is. Hello and welcome to Inside Ball, our preview for round 17. It's the Beanies for Brain Cancer round. Mark Hughes, Boozy, does a great job. Yeah. And obviously, all throughout the whole weekend, we will see so many people buying a beanie.
You can buy them at the ground,
Yeah, at the ground.
Or online.
Yeah. And Mark Hughes is one of the legends, one of the real good guys in rugby league. And geez, he's raised some money for it.
Yeah, did I hear something like...
millions and millions of dollars he's raised for it. Unbelievable. Now, before we get to round 17, let's look at a bit of news that's going on. Big weekend because Origin sides get named Sunday. And
what do you, there'll be some changes to both teams.
Yeah, look, this is the big one that I'm hearing. And look, there'll be denials coming everywhere. And I don't know how true, if it comes to fruition, but the mail I'm getting is very strong. Queensland, for me, are set to make some changes to a winning side. I'm hearing, and look, it's still football. This round's got to play. I'm hearing Josh Papali'i, who had retired from Origin,
last song,
is in line to come in for Mo Fortuaker.
Right.
That Mo potentially might be dropped, and the big Papa. Now, I rang the nation's capital this morning, not Ipswich. I did ring the nation's capital, and that mail had been heard from that club. The Raiders had actually heard that as well.
Right.
There hasn't been a phone call. Billy hasn't rung Ricky. Billy hasn't rung the Raiders. You wouldn't think he would.
No.
I did say to a bloke, I thought he'd retired, and they said,
well plenty have come out of retirement.
Well, for 30 grand makes you come out of retirement.
He wouldn't be doing it for the money.
No, but I'm saying it's a nice softener. Mate,
if he comes back... Right, he's not coming back.
Do you like that move? Like, I mean, they've got Horsburgh sitting there, but to bring Papa in to strengthen up your middle,
bang,
yeah, like
I'd rubber stamp that.
Yeah, so would I, and look, I like it a lot. And that mail, it was very strong yesterday.
Right,
I've made 3 or 4 phone calls today. Now, listen, I will preference this by saying no one at the QRL. I have spoken to no one at the QRL.
Right,
but the talk of the town is that Papa, Big Papa, is a big chance of getting a recall.
Right.
Which, you finished him. I think that was...
Hey, let's do that a bit nicer. I didn't finish Pups.
Yeah, you retired him.
He retired himself.
All right, okay.
He retired himself.
No, he played his last game and then Billy took over. He played his last game for you at an Origin level. Yeah. And then he retired, was a legend for Queensland.
Brilliant, mate. He's playing better, as good now as he ever has.
Starting for the Raiders as well.
Starting for the Raiders.
Unbelievable. So that's the big thing. The other news is Selwyn. And before we get to this,
and what about Reece Walsh? Is he a chance at fullback for game 3?
I don't think so. Right. I think the knee's still dodgy.
In the 14 jumper, maybe. That utility, maybe.
I think Kurtman did enough to keep his spot.
Yeah, I do too.
And I don't think they'll drop Ponga as poor as he's playing.
No, well, he was,
And I think
he had his best game in Origin too for a
Yeah.
long time, and backed it up with an even better performance for the Knights over in Perth.
So they're the narratives.
Right.
The only other thing is the
What's
other
happened to my
issue.
mate Selwyn?
Well,
The way what's happening there, the Broncos should just come up and say, look,
Go.
it's unfortunate. We haven't got enough room left in the salary cap. We love what you've done here, Selwyn, but that happens, Dobbo, and that's what happens at clubs. You get squeezed, players get squeezed. You can't keep them all. Players get squeezed out.
okay, I agree with that. I actually agree with that. But if, and Paul Crawley said a thing a couple of nights ago on NRL 360, that if the Broncos aren't going to use him, and they're using him as insurance at the moment, he won't play first grade again under the current situation. They've gone with Karapani, they've got Mariner. There's clearly he's not.
Well, Selwyn's is a very good player, mate.
They see him as a winger. The club have said that. I get this. They see him as a winger. He wants to play fullback. And I went back and I listened to that whole podcast where he obviously, which involved you. And I went back and listened to the whole thing. And the guts of it is that he wants to be a fullback, right? He wasn't. And look, they took the highlight reels out of that. We all know it. Let's not unpack that. But he wants to play fullback. He's not enjoying football at the moment. He's not happy. I heard Billy's comments yesterday, when Billy said he just needs to get the love of the game back. So clearly he hasn't got that at Brisbane. Now, did he have it in the past? Yes, I do. Does he have it at the moment? No, he doesn't. So for me, if the Broncos are as strong about the mental health as they are, and they launched that black jersey, and I agree with what Paul Crawley, he wants to go now. I think the Cowboys have shown some interest to let him go. But if he's not going to be there, let him go. Let him go.
Yeah, well, they're not going to help another.
I'm hearing, and I know everybody's talking Dragons. I know everybody's talking. I heard yesterday the Chooks, and I'll read you the text. And I got this text yesterday, and it's an interesting thing. I got this text yesterday, mate. Cobbo to the Roosters. That's why they wanted to move Dom.
Well, I thought they're moving Dom to get DCE in.
Now, look, I don't know. This guy's mail sometimes isn't always right. Yeah, it's rugby league and there's a lot of
Couldn't end
gossip.
up at the Roosters. Come on.
Well, why not?
Well, where they find the money? They're struggling as it is.
Are they? Are they? Like, I'm
Righto.
being honest with you.
Well,
They've got. Now, we're going to need to ask. They lose Daniel Tupou at the end of the year, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, if Sandon Smith goes because they got Sam Walker, that's still on the table. They potentially could lose Sandon Smith. Now, yes, Cherry Evans is coming there, but look, I'm just being honest.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. The Roosters are, they're very active in the market.
Yeah,
always.
but it would sell and go there. That's the other thing. I don't know why the Dolphins have ruled themselves out, and I don't understand
Well,
why.
they probably don't have money, mate. Let's be serious. They don't have money in their cap. Not a
Yeah,
lot
but
of-
what's he worth?
He's worth $700,000-800,000.
No, I think he's a $550,000 player.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, that's me on the
that's why
cap at
I'm
the
a
moment.
coach and you're
I'm
working
not.
media.
But well, mate, the Broncos think he's worth 300.
yeah. Well, let's just wait and see what happens, eh?
You think he's going to make 700,000?
He's a $700,000 player, mate.
That's no doubt about that. But is he going to get that? And that's the question.
Well, he may not get that, right? But he was a $700,000. He was playing State of Origin, Dobbo. And not just playing impacting State of Origin. Have a look at some of the tries he scored. He's an elite player.
Yeah, well,
in the
clearly
right
he's not happy,
environment.
Kev.
In the right environment, he's an elite player.
Okay, so where's the right environment?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't either, but I do think that there's an issue there, clearly. And I think if the Broncos are serious, let him go.
Go back and have a look at the try he scored against the Dolphins in 2023.
That was 23. It's now 25.
Yeah.
Players drop off. We had Paul Hoff here yesterday. He had a season.
Paul
Hoff was an unbelievable mate.
Paul Hoff's got injured. He busted it. There's nothing wrong with Selwyn.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying.
I'm in Selwyn's corner, mate.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
get
good
it.
player.
So am I. But he's not happy, and he's not happy at Brisbane. So
how he's playing at the moment? No, he's not. He's not a $700,000 player. No, but
I don't think
he
he'll
has
get
been.
700.
No,
I think he's a 550. I think
he
he's
might
500.
have to come back into that. That's fine. But you're getting a good buy at $550.
Oh, cool, no question.
So
and you
that's
put some. And
that's
anyway,
a bargain price.
Righto, let's get through the round. There's all the news that's going on. We start tonight, and this game has got a lot.
Righto, Penrith's going to win this game tonight, Dobbo. Penrith will beat the Bulldogs.
Hey, you guys got to go. You're saying straight up.
Penrith, on what I saw over in Auckland, without their five, the big five, they got to drop the big five back into that side.
Bookmakers see it differently. Bookmakers see that the Dogs are roaring favourites.
Right.
You're tipping Penrith?
I'm going to tip Penrith.
You've got the big five. Manly take on the West Tigers. What do we like about that? Mate, throw the marbles up in the air. Where they land, they land. Who would know? You can't trust either.
What's happened to Tommy? You got any mail there?
Centres.
Yeah, I know he's playing centres. It's obviously a force from the coaching
Seabold's
staff.
made that.
Right.
That's happened.
You know what? I don't mind it with Lehigh Hopewadi at fullback.
Righto.
Right? I think it'll just take a little bit of pressure off Tommy and just free him up a bit. Because he's got to be in the side somewhere.
Manly coming off the bye. They need to have a win.
They'll win. Manly will beat the Tigers, mate.
Righto.
Lodge is back in there. See, Lodge's got to start, and so I think he'll bring a bit to the Manly. They've been questioned this week, the Manly forwards. Lodge is one that can get them up and over the advantage line. The Tigers have lost 5 in a row, so
yeah, close, but not that. Yeah,
not quite good enough. So anyway, Manly to win that one, Dobbo.
Raiders to take on the Knights.
Oh well, we're huge Raiders fans on the show, aren't we? So
I don't mind the Knights in this one, and I think this could be an upset.
Get out.
Did you see him last week?
You've been drinking again, Dobbo.
No, I'm not drinking, but they've been up for a long time. The Raiders. A side with Dan Gagai, Bradman Best. I mean, yes, Jackson Hastings in there.
Jackson Hastings back in.
Yeah.
Saifedi's back in.
Sorry, I'll rephrase that. They're not going to win. Okay, I'll tip Canberra, but I think
no Hudson Young for the Raiders.
I think this is closer than everybody thinks.
Yeah, I think so as well. The Knights have won 2 of their last 3 games, right?
Yeah.
And they beat the Dolphins.
Saifedi, Frizzell, Dylan Lucas, Kite Paul Crosland. They're Brody Jones. Go Brody Jones. Matt Croker goes back to the bench. I mean, you know,
they're a chance, but I just think the Raiders, mate, too much.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll stick with that. Right, and then you go to Saturday, Super Saturday.
Yes.
The doubleheader in Brisbane.
I'm up here for this one.
Same here. I'll be part of that.
Well, you're going to brush me again like you did. What was that, Magic Weekend, wasn't it?
No, it was before that. Yeah, Magic Weekend when you told me to shove. But anyway, we'll just see. Who do you like,
Broncos, Warriors? I've got to go the Broncos at home. 2 wins in a row. The Warriors struggled a bit last week against an understrength Penrith. Kurt Capewell drops back into the Warriors side. No Mitch Barnett for the Warriors.
Huge out.
It's a big out. And the Broncos have got the same 17 as last week. So
yeah, Hunty was due to come back. They're going to hold him a week. They'll bring him back against the Dogs.
Right, because they'll be missing some players there.
So this is a pretty
what
big game.
What about Adam? See what Phil Gould said the other night on
100% footy.
Yeah.
He thinks Reynolds could be in the Origin side.
Yeah. He said if Cleary doesn't stand up, he'd be putting
Adam Reynolds out of the eye.
And do you know why he's going to? And I think Reno would.
Oh, we know why.
Job.
Because the following week they play the Dogs.
They're playing the Dogs.
I know.
Oh, Gussie. But what about he's got Galvin sitting there, and also he's got
Matt Burton.
Yeah. And Kurt Mann. They're all sitting there, and he's
cunning.
He's good.
Cunning as a shithouse rat.
He's good.
Can I ask you this? The Pakes Walters. It's an audition, mate. It's an audition this week.
This is a player on the move. One of these two have got to get on the move.
We'll get to that, but either way, one of those players won't be in the side next week.
Yeah,
barring injury. So,
well, it's a bit silly asking me about it because you
know. No. But I'm just going to say
it is important. It is a shoot off though, mate.
I think Billy's going better, and I say that, and I think every time when Bill comes onto that side, from a defensive and from a structure point of view, I just think they play a better style shape-wise in attack.
Well, I'll just go on what I saw last weekend and what I've seen all year, basically. Yeah. There's 2 reasons. Billy, when he came on the weekend, sort of the whole game sort of changed, not because of what Billy was doing, but they sort of came together well, the team. Walshy started doing a few things, Renault, so... there's that, and also Billy's versatility. I know Pakesy can play in the halves and that, but he hasn't for some time. Billy's got that utility value where he can fill in at half or 5'8", or even at lock. So I think that's probably going to be the deciding factor. Who brings the most versatility to the team? Because Ben Hunt is going to knock out a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
At 9.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Okay, Dragons take on the Eels. I think, mate, Eels win that. I mean, I can't say
The
that.
Eels, no, Dragons will win that at home, mate.
Really?
They're due. They need to start a run. Jaden Sewell is come back from, he'll be back in the side from that ankle injury. Dylan Brown back for the Eels, but I just think at home, the Dragons, but they need to start getting some wins, banking some wins, and so do the Eels. They're in 15th position, but I just think at home, the Dragons been in some good scraps this year. This will be a tight game with the Dragons to win. What are you doing?
No, I can't. I can't back them.
You're going Eels?
I can't back them with Kyle Flanagan. I just can't.
Righto.
I can't trust them. And that's no disrespect to Kyle. I just think they've got to make a decision there. This game, Rabbitohs versus the Dolphins. This is the second of the doubleheader.
Wow.
Have you seen how stacked the Rabbits are? They've got all their big guns back.
Most of them are back.
Yeah, mate. Like that side is a
Campbell Graham,
Cody Walker. Mate, they've also got Mamazoulis back at 14.
Yep.
Jack White and Latrell Johnson, very hard to beat. Now, I will say, Junior Tupou comes into that side for the Dolphins.
Jack
Bostock's gone for the year.
Josh Kerr back in for the Dolphins as well.
And you've also got Fuss has gone for 6 weeks. Felice Kafusi gone for 6 weeks. Had a operation last week.
Well, he was suspended, but then
they've had an operation out for 6 weeks.
Well,
so
that's a big
they've
hole.
lost Felice Kafusi for 6 weeks. Now they won't talk about it, but he's out for 6 weeks.
Wow.
So that's a huge out.
Are you going south?
I am. Yeah, right. I am. I think Wayne, against his old club, he's been linked to the PNG Hunters. He still wants that. They're 15th. They're desperate. They need to win. This comp's close. They need to get back. I think they win this one.
Yep.
I think it's a grind. I don't think it's a pretty game, but I think they win it.
Right. I'm going to stick with the home team, the Dolphins. Yeah, I think they'll have enough. Listen, this is an interesting day at Suncorp, Dobbo, isn't it? Are you going to leave the stadium?
No.
I'm
staying in.
Inside.
Yeah, because I'm calling. Yeah, I got to call the.
But let's explain to the folks.
So what will happen is
history making.
3 o'clock, 52,000 will be there. It's a sellout.
Warriors,
Broncos. That game will finish by 5. They've got an hour to clean it and get everything, change all the logos, everything,
That's easy.
rebrand
That's just
the
a button, boom, and all the branding goes.
Then 6:10, the gates open. 7:50 kickoff. We're back going South Sydney. I don't know about dressing rooms. I don't know about all this.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work, how they're going to clean it all out, how they're going to remap it, how they're going to... But it's happening.
Yeah, it's unreal.
We're going to stay...
Stadium staff are going to be working extremely hard, aren't they, to turn that field...
It's crazy. I don't know how it happens, but anyway,
it's going to happen. And Alan Graham, you're the man,
is going to get double time on the weekend, and I suspect there's people out there that are going to be licking their lips about their Saturday pay.
Right, but I'm going Dolphins in the second one. You're going
south. I'm going south. Okay,
right.
Let's talk to Sunday. There's 2 games on Sunday. Storm will beat the Sharks. I don't care what anybody says about
Storm
this.
Storm to beat Sharks. Xavier Coates returns. He missed last week after Origin. At home, the Storm, very good side, very hard to beat. The Sharks, well, they were up, Dobbo, 28-12 in that second half. They got mowed down by the Broncos. That shouldn't happen. Right?
I agree.
That shouldn't happen. So they're on the slide, the Sharks.
Oh, they're in big trouble defensively. Okay, last game, 4 o'clock game. We're calling this one.
Titans Cowboys,
mate. What's Todd Payton? Mate, what wasn't Purdue and
he was the future.
He was the future at 6.
Yeah.
That lasted 3 games.
Well, 3 losses changed that.
Clifford's back at 6.
Yeah.
And Purdue's back to the centres.
Yeah.
Probably should have been the whole time.
Yeah, well, you get these brainwaves as a coach, and you think, I was all for it, but it just hasn't worked. Too young. Too
a pre-season. And so, mate, look, they look better. I think Kelly's in the extended squad. So
you think he'll play?
I think he'll play.
So he was dropped last week, Kelly?
Yeah, I think Kelly will be back.
Right.
I think he'll be back. The mail I'm getting is that he gets there. I think they put Lofi Khan Pereira and Jojo Fafita back on the wings, and Kelly comes back into it. That's me.
Yep.
But Tommy Weaver in the 7 jersey because Campbell's out.
With the HIA.
And Mo, you're playing for your Origin jersey, mate.
Mo Fotuaika and Tino returned to the starting.
Yeah. Well, they need that.
13.
They need that.
Yeah. Look, this is going to be a tight game and a big game for both clubs too, Dobbo. The loser, you don't want to be losing this game. You want to be
Who are
winning
you
it.
tipping, Kev?
Oh, I'm going to go the home team, I think. I've got to stick up for the Titans. They've had a tough year.
Cowboys
So
have had
the Cowboys.
40 plus put on them the last couple of weeks, so I
but
tend to think
they
that
get Cotter back, don't they? And Reece Robson back in.
Yeah.
They didn't play last week, and Jake Clifford comes into the 6. Oh, this is hard. 2 Queensland teams.
you're tipping the Titans.
I think I'm going to tip the Titans.
I'm going to tip the Cows. I think.
Righto.
I think Desi's days are numbered, and that's just me. And that's me. Now, player on the move. The Kratzmann Caravan RV Super Centre, Burpengary. We know where they are. We get it. The best. Just go out on the Bruce Highway. Start your dreams today. Up to $20,000 in sales, and it only goes to the end of the financial. It's their end of financial year sales. So please get them. Who's your player on the move?
Well, there's 2 players in the Kratzmann Caravan this week.
Yeah.
Billy Walters and Corey Pakes. They're on the move, mate, both of them.
Well, one of them will be.
One of them will
be.
open the door and just throw him out.
Yeah, and that's a hard part for them. They both know that they're playing with their position in that side.
Yeah, it's a tough call. But for the Broncos, it's a show
we knew
show
that.
of depth, a sign that they've got good depth at the club when you can lose one of those 2 out of your starting 17.
Well, Ben Hunt comes back into the side next week, and Ezra playing as well, and Ben Hunt's been told that he's going to be a hooker. So, yeah, that's the go. Kevie, I'm sure that you've been, in rep sides and in club teams where you're all playing for a position and they're your mates. How is that in the locker room?
Well, it becomes very individual. It's okay because team first mentality, but it becomes very personal.
Yeah,
it does become very personal, and you have to play for the team, but also play well enough so that that you remain in that team. So you got to bring some stuff to the table, basically.
Yeah,
it's not easy, and unfortunately, rugby league is a tough sport sometimes, as we all know. And on this occasion, that someone's going to win and someone's going to lose.
Yeah, interesting way it goes forward. Let's get some questions for Kev, and there is always a few. And it's an interesting situation. Kevie, we need middles and edge players badly. Who should the Broncos go after?
Middles and edge players? Where do you start, mate? I think they're probably lacking one middle. One middle. So
there was some talk that Mitch Barnett was having some conversations with the Bronx,
Yeah. Well, that's probably died down a bit now, given the injury.
Yeah.
The edge players as well. Jordan Ricky played his 100th game, so I think they need to just persevere with Ricky. And Brendan Piakura.
They've got to try and get the best out of them.
They're both good young players. They just got to get some more games into them.
It's just hard when you see Hoskins and you also see Capewell running around for other sides, and they're both edges. And I get it, you can't keep them all. You can't get them all. There is a young bloke by the name of Ben Allen coming through
at the Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos. He's a hard nut.
Yep.
If they get a pre-season under him, you might see the best of Ben Allen. And Ben Takura, we haven't seen the best of him.
Well, we won't see him again because he's had
he's done
ankle surgery. So.
Yeah. Do you think Jordan Ricky is the long-term edge option there?
Yeah, I think he is, Jordan. Yeah, I think he's played his 100th game. He's had a bit of a rough year as well with some illness and different things. So Ricky at his best is a very good player. I like his energy that he brings to the Broncos with his carries, and defensively he's very good. So yeah, I think he's fine.
And just quickly, Reece over Ponga, you said that earlier. You think he's a chance?
Well, I think just depending on his leg, and I wouldn't say over Ponga. I think Ponga will be in the side, but I think there's maybe some space there for Reece Walsh as well.
Perfect. Now our bet, Kevie, you're back in charge for the bet of the week. What's your take?
All right, this is it, Dobbo. Get your pencils ready, your pen and paper. Shibasaki to score. He's a good try scorer.
Very good try scorer. Brisbane to win.
Gammett, Shibasaki.
Yeah, and Brisbane to win.
Brisbane to win.
Yeah.
To beat the Warriors.
And what about the other game?
Yeah, Keon Kolomatangi to score.
Yeah.
For South, and the Dolphins to win.
Wow. That is big money as well. I think that's almost $20. So get on board, gamble responsibly. That's Bronx to win, Gammett Shibasaki to score, Dolphins to win. Kevie's always loyal to the Queenslanders, but Keon Kolomatangi, he will score a try.
Well, I normally say Jack Bostock, but he's out, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out. He's out.
He's done.
I like that. $25.60 if you want to have a gamble responsibly. That's it from us. Beanies for Brain Cancer. Remember, go and get your beanie. We'll be back. And look, if you haven't, go and listen to the Hoff. He was awesome yesterday. One of the great stories of rugby league, and shows how you can be really there at the moment. Then he's moved forward. Amazing, amazing life. We'll be back on Monday with our review. See you later.